Hello, welcome to our ISM presentation. My name is Ankita Talukdar. I'm a junior at Clear Springs High School, and today we'll be presenting my project on children's type 1 and type 2 diabetes for the class of ISM and my teacher, Ms. Daffrin. I would like to start off by putting the disclaimer out there that some of this factual information presented in my presentation does come from outside resources, such as the internet and my mentor. Starting off with my mentor introduction, the mentor that was so gracious to oversee me this semester, despite COVID-19, was Dr. Hanan Hussein. She has been a family physician for about 17 years now and now owns her own clinic called League City Family Care. This is a private clinic. Previously, she did do her residency and medical school for UTMB Galveston. The address of my mentorship site is located down below in the PowerPoint. It is 1507 West League City Parkway, suite number 200. So what is the ISM class? ISM stands for Independent Study Course Mentorship and is a course designed to facilitate independency in students who wish to study in a designated field. Every week, the students should meet with their chosen mentor and learn about their career choice, whether it be forensics, healthcare, or law, and they see what it entails. Students perform at a collegiate level, indicating that this class is an advanced credit. This plan ensures that students receive a unique plan of study that facilitates their interests, and it looks a little different this year as COVID-19 has changed protocol. Required elements of this course in the past were actually 2 hours for each week, but this is not required this year due to travel making it a lot harder because of COVID-19 and meeting with our mentors, and hospitals have set restrictions and so have mentors as well. But we have weekly activity logs, journal entries, Weebly portfolio, and artifacts that are still required. My project topic is in relation to children's type 1 and type 2 diabetes. Cases of diabetes in children exponentially rise every year, and which puts them at a greater risk for overall health issues. I decided to choose this topic because when I moved from Mississippi, this was a very protruding and significant cause. Children's diabetes was almost the highest in the states there. I had spent over hundreds of volunteer hours volunteering at the local Children's Diabetes Foundation, and we would put together high-glow sugar bags and put together walks for them, and thus I began developing an emotional connection to the children as I've witnessed the struggles that they faced on a daily basis. To highlight different aspects of my research and showcase my work for this class, I have created an online portfolio on a website that I've linked below. If you would like to take a glance at this website title, it is called Ankita Talukdar ism.weebly.com. This website has pictures of my mentorship place and the different kinds of work that I do. It also has my journal and activity logs for each week and different kinds of research that I did on children's type 1 and type 2 diabetes. So if you would like, you could pause this presentation and take a look by hyperlinking this link and then taking a look at my portfolio. So what will we be covering today? Today we will be covering 3 key points. The first one will be the difference between type 1 and type 2 diabetes. The second one will be what are the different lifestyle changes that must occur after being diagnosed. And the third one is what are the most common treatments and medication for patients diagnosed with this illness. Starting off with the first point, this is the difference between type 1 and type 2 diabetes. There are several differences. Starting off, type 1 diabetes is more prevalent in children and adolescents, indicating that this disease is hereditary. So what hereditary means is that this disease is something that is passed throughout generations, specifically type 1 diabetes. So that means either your parents or your grandparents are carrying the gene for type 1 diabetes and they pass it on throughout generations. However, type 2 diabetes is more common in people as they age. So this is something that can be acquired as it happens in a given amount of time and as people get older. In type 1 diabetes, the immune system attacks beta cells in the pancreas. The pancreas is the organ that produces insulin and glucagon. Then the body can no longer produce enough insulin to have a normal blood glucose level. However, in type 2 diabetes, the body cells gradually start resisting the effects of insulin, and eventually the pancreas stops producing the appropriate amount of insulin needed for the body to use. So, in your body, normal insulin and hormone levels exist. But once someone is getting borderline diabetes, the pancreas starts producing either too much or not enough insulin for the body to use, and thus diabetes begins. Approximately 95% of people in the world who have diabetes have type 2, while only 5% have type 1. Type 1 is a rare disease. Moving on to key point 2, it is what are the lifestyle changes that must occur after being diagnosed? So the main one I would have to say is learning how to give insulin shots or place insulin pumps properly, as this is something that they're going to be needing for the rest of their life. And one key tale is looking at if they're hypoglycemic or hypo. Hyper means there's not enough blood sugar, and hypo means there's too much, and then you can adequately fix this with insulin. So things that all affect blood sugar levels are stress, exercise, and illness. This either causes your blood sugar levels to go up or down. It is preferred to eat on a timely schedule. This keeps all of your hormones in your body in check as they're releasing at the same amount of time and know when to expect it. Foods with low sugar are needed and high in protein. This is a little diabetes trick. If you eat foods with low sugar, then it's better manageable to manage your hormones. Regularly visit the doctor's office in order to ensure that all body hormone levels are normal. So one thing that you notice when you go to the doctor is that they have this poster on the side of the wall that usually says if you're a diabetic patient, make sure to do your annual feet exam. So what they mean by that is usually if your diabetes is not kept well, a patient's feet will start cracking on the bottom. So that's what people usually like to check out to make sure all their hormone levels look normal. The last key point is key point 3, and it is about common treatments. So common treatments include insulin, and that is taking medicine that will ensure your blood sugar levels do not get too high or too low. So insulin can either be used to bring down your blood sugar levels or bring them back up. People can also manage this with a diet. So a healthy diet would incorporate healthy fats, low sugar, high in protein, and a small amount of carbs. If your blood sugar gets too high, seizures are more likely to occur, and this is never good. Currently, there is no permanent cure for both type 1 and type 2 diabetes. However, scientists are looking at more longevity approaches to approaching diabetes in the future because insulin is a short-term solution. But diabetes is a very manageable disease, and this can be maintained with adequate exercise with an emphasis on cardio. Now, an extension to key point 3 is common medication. So there are several different types of insulin that account for how fast it takes to react. There are rapid, long, immediate, and short-term insulin. Insulin is needed for children and adults who have been diagnosed with diabetes. This is the primary solution to aid this disease. And glucagon shots are used to raise blood sugar in an emergency situation. An analogy that I like to compare this to is an EpiPen. So what an EpiPen does is that it is used in allergic patients. So when there's an allergy that pertains a threat to the body, an EpiPen is used to counteract that. And it's used right in that moment and only in that moment because it gives a rapid response. So that is the same thing as a glucagon shot. It's a rapid response to an emergency situation. Now, children with type 1 diabetes can take a pill, but this is not very effective and it should only be used in young children and infants. This is my product slide. This image below is a model of a glucose indicator, and it is made from cardboard, paint, and foam. I have a physical copy of it as well. The brand is The Voice, and this is a very popular brand for glucose indicator because what it does, it basically pricks the skin, and then the blood is used to measure how much glucose is in it. So what the glucose indicator has is a BP, so it measures your glucose levels. It measures your heart rate, the time, This is the brand and how often it should be measured. This is the sound because it can read it out to you. And these are the different buttons that are on the glucose monitor. This is your up and down to see the different sides of it. So basically this is my product that I've created to represent measuring diabetes. So here I have images of my mentorship place and daily tasks that I was given to complete. I have collected a total of 10 artifacts for my presentation. This ranges from the task I was given at League City Family Clinic and different things that I have learned overall. One of my favorite things to do was actually experiment on the realistic model cadaver, where I learned the anatomy alongside with several medical students that also came to shadow my mentor as well. I also enjoyed using the centrifuge seen on the right-hand side to separate blood plasma and platelets. And basically the human blood is made of more plasma, so that would float to the top while the blood cells would float to the bottom. And I enjoyed using the centrifuge very much. I also enjoyed interacting with patients that were on a daily basis. Some cool things that I do with patients would be taking their blood pressure every day and their temperature for their wellness checkup. I also sat in with lectures that Dr. Hunan Hussein gave with her students, and I refilled the blood carts for the vaccine on every single room. In conclusion, in ISM, I hope to learn about time management, becoming more independent, and being able to expand on the fields that I'm interested in. In this way, my learning is catered towards what I enjoy, and I can make it the best possible project. I have to thank my mentor for taking the time to inform me about children's type 1 and type 2 diabetes, because this is an issue that affects millions of people around the world. By teaching me responsibility, accountability, and patient interaction, I have learned valuable lessons about what it means to be a doctor and the application process to applying to med school. Eventually, I hope in the future I'll be able to educate the general public on these matters as well, as I hope to enter this field. Thank you for my mentor for guiding me over these past few weeks, my teachers, my audience, and my evaluator as well for viewing my presentation. So this slide I have here is my reference slide. It basically accounts for all of the outside resources that I used in my presentation and where I got my facts from for my research portion. So the main sources that I used were from Nicholas Hanna from Medical News. I used Parenting with Children from JDRF. And I used Medicines for Diabetes from Nemours Kid Health. For my pictures, I looked at the Creative Commons on Microsoft Word. And to find out the ISM requirements, I looked on the ISM website. If anybody has any questions at the end of my presentation, I will be happy to take anything and answer anything. Because of COVID-19 and I am a Clear Connection student, unfortunately, I'm not able to answer them in person. However, I am able to answer any questions you might have over email. And unfortunately, I did not include that in my presentation. However, I will actually spell it out for you. I have two specific emails. So one of them is ankitatalukdar123@gmail.com. This is my personal email. And my other email is 10012333@gmail.com at ccisd.net. So if you have any questions about anything on my presentation regarding either type 1, type 2 diabetes, the kind of work I did for my mentor, or anything about my product and my artifacts, or even the website, I would be happy to take any questions. And that will be all for today. Thank you so much for listening. I know it was extremely long and that it's different as I'm not able to present in person. I really wish I could. But that'll be all for today. Thank you so much and have a great, blessed day.